About true, relevant spiritual path for our times. The spiritual path which is true. It is not that we are following some path and afterwards we find that it is not the right one and then we are lost. Because there are many religions and they are talking differently. And the second thing is that it is relevant to us, that it is concerned us. And not that we are following some path in whole our life and then in the end we say, oh, it was not good for us, it was for other people and we should have followed other path. Because every soul has different nature and different level of spirituality. So only one and the same path cannot be good for all. So we have to follow that path which is very relevant in our case and is useful for our individual soul. And the last thing is that it is good for our times, because it is also a very important point. Because in very established religions they have found that this religion was good for the past, but now there is new religion. As it is said, it was Old Testament, it was good for old times, but now God has given us New Testament which is good for our times. Some people are thinking that Old Testament is still good and they are said Jews. Some people think that New Testament is only good and they are called Christians. And Jews does not like to accept anything from the New Testament and Christian does not like to accept things from Old Testament. And it is the same thing with Islam, because there are two things, that God is Muhammad and Ahmad. Muhammad, they say that who is just and very strict, and Ahmad they say who is benevolent and merciful. And Mohammedans are strictly of the opinion that the God of Quran and of Islam was very strict and even cruel one. And then other people believe that God has changed his nature now. He is not so strict and he is comforter. He is Ahmad now. And those who follow the thinking of Muhammad, they are Mohammedans and they don't want to accept these others who are following as God as comforter. Even Mohammedans say that those who follow these Ahmad or Ahmadiyya, they are not believers, they are non-believers. In every tradition there is a change after some times, and then people start thinking that this is right religion and previous one was not so right. And they go on repeating that God is perfect, He knows everything, but still their behavior is that they are putting this claim or this bad thinking about God, that God does not know what is right and is changing with times. So I am talking now about the spiritual path which is true, relevant and is for our times. Reunion of soul with God is yoga, and this is the right spiritual path, because it is based on revelations which are not changing, which were revealed to God, to man in the beginning. It is the same now and it will be the same in future. The theory of evolution is not applying to it. From the very beginning it is the perfect path, because it is said law of Lord is perfect to convert the soul. The law is perfect and the law is to convert the soul back to God. And it is true because it is everlasting. It is not changing. What our revelations we had at the time of creation of the world, which is mentioned in Vedas, are the same now also. It is true path. It is said, truth is the arrow, and gate is narrow that it passes through. The spiritual path is very narrow. Only very clear truth can pass through it, and if you add something to it, then it is not going through. And this path is said as narrow path in Bible. It is said to be the straightest path, because it is directly from soul to God and there is nothing in between. It's straight, direct, you can say anything. And it is easy also, because it is said Sahaj Yoga, which means easy path. Because for following this path, you have not to collect many things, that you need books and you need Agnihotra and you need other things. But you alone can follow it without any things. And further it is said that this path is controlled by divine revelations. These divine revelations are from God. These are inspiring us. These are controlling us. And that gives us the right knowledge. So it is not possible to deviate from the path once we are on this path. And the main thing is, it is self-revealed. You have not to follow it, but it comes from inside. My master used to say, when Chela is ready, Guru comes. When disciple is ready, master comes himself. And when we are stamped and we are ready by finishing our bad karmas to follow the path, then we are revealed that path. And the next thing is that it is time tested. In the time of creation of the world, it was like that. And after passing away of 2 billion years, still we find that it is the same path we are following which was described in Vedas. And it will be the same in the end of the world. And this is said that in Bible also, that I am Alpha and the Omega. God-man is teaching us the same path at the time of creation of the world, now and in future also. And the next thing is that it is verifiable truth. It is the fact that if somebody has vision in the past, you can have it now also. If God was speaking to man through fire, then still we get message of God in the divine revelation of fire. If we had guidance of God through divine light in the time of Joseph, we can have it, and we are having it now also in our time. That divine revelations are repeated and are identical. They are not repeated to different people, but they are repeated to the same man also. If he is not understanding once, then repetition comes and he understands it. They don't understand the meaning and the idea of all these revelations. I remember I was in Hunjak, and one Reinhardt, Dr. Reinhardt was coming to me and he said, "Oh, your religion is very foolish religion." And I said, "What happened?" And he said, "Oh, you believe that Guru is appearing inside the disciple?" And yeah, I said, "Yes." And he was frightened. And I said, "What happened to you?" But then I asked, "You are afraid that a man like me, fat, if enters into you, what will happen to you?" Because he was very lean and thin. And I said, "Don't worry, because God-man is not entering with his body into the disciple, but the soul is entering." It is the same as Jesus Christ said that I am with thee till the end of the world. So main thing is that religion or spiritual path is not depending on dogma and doctrines. It is depending on verifiable truth. My master used to say, what a man has done, a man can do. All those experiences which have been described in holy books can be experienced by you. And the main thing is this spiritual path is ordained by God. God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. So he knows what is good for all times. Because he was present in the past, he is present now, and he will be present in future also. And he is competent to do everything. Not that he was not doing it in the past because he was not competent, and now he got the competency to do that. So it is a verifiable truth, and it is time tested. And the main thing is that this spiritual path is testified by all holy scriptures, Vedas, Old Testament, New Testament, Quran, and any other revealed book is testifying the same fact. Of course, if we have dove as a bird, then we will make mistake. Because in Bible it is said that light was white like dove. But what they think that some dove was coming and sitting on head of Jesus Christ. Once I was in one church in Wien, and I was witness to one baptizing. And there one picture was hanging where Jesus Christ was standing in a river, and the bird dove was sitting on his head. If you translate all these words which have been used in scriptures for the worldly things, then you have to have all these foolish ideas. Otherwise, if you have the right understanding of the word in the spiritual sense, then you will reach to the same conclusion. Many mistakes have come in the religious understanding of the Holy Scriptures due to this mistake. Killing of animals and sacrificing in the name of God is also that type of mistake. And the wars waged in the name of religion are also the misunderstanding of the things. Whether it is war of ditch as mentioned in Quran, or whether it is the fighting between the devils and the godheads in Vedas, it is symbolical expression of the fightings that is going on between good and bad feelings inside us. But then there is one more special thing in this spiritual path. God and God-man are love personified. Love is their passion. This passion leads us to follow the spiritual path. Why we want to follow the spiritual path? Because with that we think we will be loved by God-man. And it gives us inspiration to follow the path. It is a path of peace. It makes peace inside us. It makes peace in the world. And in Vedas, when I was translating, I has given one logo in the beginning of it. Till man is having divine revelations inside, peace will be observed in the world. Because even one man, if he is having that divine revelation and firm conviction about peace and God, then he can guide the whole nation. And it is the path of tranquility, harmony between our think. Suppose sometimes we are thinking, oh, somebody did bad for us, then we have bad thinking about him. And then it may come that it is our karma, so we don't have that bad feeling about him. And this is path of happiness and bliss. We are happy with it in this world, and this happiness goes inside us and it turns into bliss, and then we are having eternal bliss inside us. If you ask in the name of religion to stand in fire or in cold water, then you will not like that. And if you are asked to sit and not even to think, then you will feel it is so easy, it is so nice, it is acceptable to us, and it is pleasant to us. For this path, it is said in Adi Granth that eating, dancing, drinking, and doing all those worldly things, you achieve salvation. You have not to change your way of living. Only you have to change your way of thinking, that you think of God and you go on doing all these things. You are not asked not to eat this food and that food, but you are asked to keep your attention with God while eating, and then matter is settled. Then what is good for you, you will be inspired to eat that. And what is not good for you, that you will not like to do. And one thing I want to tell you, that this path is very individual path. You are not taught that you should not kill animal, but you are taught that while doing anything, you go inside and you will be guided what you have to do. Jesus Christ said very clearly that you don't be prepared before, but you will be given at the right time what you have to do. Sometimes we are not in a position to understand that God Master is asking somebody to do something, and the same thing he is asking other one not to do. But it is due to the reason that every soul has its individual level of spirituality, and what he thinks fit for him is guiding. So he is sitting in every heart. He is watching every heart. Because God is also doing through God-man, so it is not different whether we say God is searching or God-man is searching. Nothing except through God-man. It is said, Lord God does nothing except he reveals his secret counsel to his servants, the prophets. So this is relevant to us, and it is eternal in all times. So path of yoga, a reunion of soul with God, is true, relevant, a spiritual path for our times and for all times.